everyone, welcome back to Poppin' In with Alexa and Molly. I'm Alexa,
I'm Molly,
and today we are sadly chatting via Zoom because I caught the bug that's been going around. Sad face.
and we had to make some reschedulations
Yes.
for you guys because we don't want to ever miss a week.
Yeah, we try really hard not to.
I heard. And
And
we have big topics today.
we do.
But I always think that first, and I'm Molly, of the Zoom call is really jarring.
Honestly, saying anything on a Zoom call, whenever I'm presenting at work and there's just silence on a Zoom call, it's probably the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. I just think, I like to just let everyone know. I know it doesn't sound perfect, but would you rather us not talk at all? Probably not.
Yeah,
So,
everyone wants to hear us talk.
yeah.
Ever since we were little girls. Yeah.
That's what goes through our minds, at least.
Yes. But today we're going to get right into it. We're going to discuss the big topic of the day. We're going to recap the Emmys for you, because if you didn't watch them, shame, but no worries, because we definitely did.
Yes. And you know what? Here's the thing. How did you feel about the Emmys overall?
I know you were like, there's a weird vibe to the Emmys. I thought it was fine. I thought it was I think it was less of a production maybe than some of the Oscars are or whatever, in terms of the little in-between things, you know what I mean? But I thought okay, so I know you're not a Nate Bargatze fan, but he did this thing where he was, for the Boys and Girls Club of America, he was like, I'm going to donate $100,000, but every person who goes over 45 seconds in their speech, for every second, $1 gets taken down. And you know what? I thought it was kind of funny throughout the thing. It added a different layer. And if I was a comedian like him, I would be like, this is something that can constantly give me funny things to say that's not pre-rehearsed. But I think at some points it was okay, well, maybe this is a little bit too much.
So it is funny that you say that, because I will say most of the reviews thought the opposite. A lot of the reviews of the Emmys were kind of so-so, as far as the production of it. I think a lot of reviews were in agreement with me, where they felt like it was actually really not the funniest bit. It was at first, but it kind of felt overall just, I don't actually think, I'm the opposite. I think it was not a good gag to run with throughout the show, because first of all, it just felt a little distracting the whole time. They did this thing where whenever the winners, won and they were giving their speeches, they would actually show the money going down as they talked.
Yeah.
And once it went over the time, which then everybody in the crowd is groaning or whatever. And it just felt like it really took away. And I understand that we're trying to shorten the speeches. I think some people, Adrian Brody could have used that timer. Yeah. But I do think sometimes it felt a little disrespectful, because these are people who are maybe winning for the first time, and now they feel rushed because of this stupid gag, this kind of dumb bit. I didn't personally think it was very funny. I thought it was a funny idea at first, but it felt to do it the whole time, it ended up being just very distracting and overdone. And honestly, here's my thought about it. I thought it was very strange that they do that they make such a big deal about the winners needing shorter speeches, when it's the presenters do these 10-minute monologues.
Oh my God, Jennifer Coolidge, who I love, her thing, I was like, what are you talking about? It was so weird.
And everyone thought it was crazy. It was she went on for 10 minutes.
Yeah. And you know what I think is kind of crazy is I didn't realize it was only 45 seconds. And I think so, the countdown, the money countdown clock, it is, I was thinking, this sucks for people who, it's their first Emmy, or, it's a big deal to win an Emmy. But if it wasn't that, then it was, the music was going to play you off, which I also think kind of sucks. I'm I didn't realize, excuse me, they only got 45 seconds. I'm I think we could give them at least a minute, and then maybe, the Emmys just runs a little bit longer, block out that time or something. There's got to be some way.
I think just the idea of and they ended up, which everybody knew they were going to do anyway, he ended up donating the money either way.
It was $350,000 or something.
Yeah, he and CBS. But I felt it it was kind of gross to do that about the Boys and Girls Club of America, that it's
Yeah.
like
And then they
money
had
is
them
being
there.
taken away. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was, again, I'm not, like, it was funny at first, but I felt like to do it the whole time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think a lot of people really, and I pointed this out a lot during the show, which I know you guys are fans of him. I personally have not ever seen anything that I think he's funny. Like, whenever he's on SNL, I'm just not a fan. But I wasn't really impressed with his hosting either. I thought he was just boring. He also flubbed his lines so many times that it felt, which I understand you're nervous and it happens. It was his first time hosting the Emmys, but I just felt like it was, at one point he called Gilmore Girls Gilmore Now. Like, he messed up the lines, and that alone was just like, it felt like he did that the whole time. It was just, I saw a lot of people compare when Catherine Hahn and Ike, I can't remember his last name, but they did that bit where it's like, they turned the teleprompter off and then they couldn't remember like what they were supposed to say or whatever. And it was supposed to show that like you need writers. I felt like a lot of people were like, that's how it felt when Nate was hosting the whole time. It just felt like it was really...
The thing about his comedy, I think, like, that, one, I like it, it's, like, clean comedy, but it also is, his whole thing, I think, is, like, timing, and you have to understand, like, he kind of, like, is a slow speaker, and I don't know if, like, that, or, like, the way he, like, says things is kind of like slow, and I don't know if that like really translates well to like the Emmys. Like, I was excited because I love him as a comedian to hear that he was hosting, but I was kind of like also surprised because I was like, oh, it just seems like a huge jump in his career, and also like just kind of random. I would love to see them pick more comedians maybe that aren't like I love like the big name comedians, but like pick some like, you know, B-list comedians, just because it's like, I don't know, it gets them more exposure that they maybe need, but also I think maybe if you're not used to presenting on that level, it can be really nerve-wracking.
Somebody who I think, and I think he's like refused to do it, but John Mulaney to me would be perfect. I always love when Conan does it. Like, to me, they're really good presenters. Whereas Nate, like, that's just not as like you said, he has maybe a certain type of comedy that just doesn't translate well to award shows, but it just overall felt like very low energy. I actually, his opening bit got a lot of like flack, but I actually thought that was kind of funny, like with the SNL cast. Like, I didn't mind that part, but yeah, it just felt like a lot of weird flubs throughout the night that just felt...
And I can see, like, comedians turning it down, because it is, like, a hard... Like, you're literally... It's, like, the most... I think it was Hannah Berner was talking about this. She was like, it's the most nervous that all of these people in this room are for, like, the potential pinnacle of their career, and you've got to kind of, like, one, make them laugh, two, maybe make fun of them a little bit, and, like, three, make the audience... Like, the viewers at home feel like they're a part of it, too, and it's, like... It's kind of, like, the worst job, so... I think that's
people
why...
who don't want to be made fun of. On... Like, especially on a night that they don't want to be made fun of because they're nervous.
Like, and that's why I think, like, John Mulaney would be good, but he's, like, more of an A-list comedian that I think, like, A-listers are just, like, I don't want to, like, step on people's toes and say stuff, where it's, like, I feel like a B-lister maybe is more, like, I'm really trying to, like, take the next, like, rung on the ladder, so I'll just, like, do anything for a laugh type of thing. I like a little bit more experimentation, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I kind of like what I know. That's always been my thing.
Yeah.
That's just me. But I think overall, so what I will say, as much as I didn't love the production itself, I thought the winners all amazing. Like, I thought everyone who won deserved to win. I was really, really happy with that.
Because I will say, these were some tight categories, and I think there was maybe only, like, 3 places where I was, like, surprised, but for the most part, I was like, yep, makes sense, yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, like, especially, like, lead actor in a drama went to Noah Wyle, and I knew it was going to be between him and, Adam Scott for Severance, and the thing is, I've watched both of those, and I just really think, like, Adam Scott deserves more for his role in Severance. Like, I think Noah Wyle did a great job, but part of that, to me, feels like, okay, he's kind of just, like, he played a really... There's huge emotional moments in the pit, but I love Severance so much because it's just, like, you can't compare it to anything else on television, you know?
Right.
Like, there's no one else doing that.
You pointed out, like, so Britt Lauer ended up winning for Severance, which was a surprise because I think a lot of people really thought Kathy Bates, she was, like, pretty much expected to win. So that was, like, a very good surprise. But you pointed out that, like, she's Britt Lauer's basically playing two characters. And I mean,
Yeah.
so is Adam Scott, but like she really was playing two very different characters
And if you,
in the
okay,
season.
it's crazy because, like, follow me here. She is playing Heliar, or no, she's
Mm-hmm.
playing Helena, playing Heliar, playing you know what I mean? Like she's playing it's like acting Inception. It's like she's playing two characters who are playing also each other in different
Yeah.
things throughout. And she talked about it, and at one point it's like literally the way she's walking, where it's literally supposed to be she's acting as Helena, acting as Helly R, so she has to like pretend like she's walking like Helly R, but she's also Helena
Yeah.
pretending. And it's so like she definitely deserved that. And it's interesting because you and Chris had said you heard that Kathy Bates, but when I all the research that I did, people were saying Britt Lauer, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but
So all the research I did was Kathy Bates.
that's
And also
interesting.
not only that, but like even before the show started, we were watching the like red carpet, and even the journal, like the reporters, like, you know, they were about to like pass it over to the show, and they were like, they had just talked to Kathy Bates, and they're like, I think she's gonna win tonight. Like everyone, I mean, maybe it was like a kind of a toss up, but
Yeah.
everything I saw, it was like gonna be Kathy Bates.
Did you?
And I wasn't unhappy that Britt Lauer won. She really did, like she also really deserved it.
Did you
But
see?
I kind of want to go over.
Oh, sorry, the back of her acceptance speech where it says "Let me out."
I know.
This is
That
very
was funny. Also, I kind of want to go over some of the big, like, pleasant surprises or big wins that were sort of big that night. But first of all, and I did try watching this show. I watched the first season. I didn't really get into it. I haven't watched the second season, but Andor won for Best Writing, which was huge.
Yeah, I was surprised.
A lot of people were really happy about that because it is great writing, especially for us, you know, like for a Star Wars show. It's like, especially it's very political, it's very timely, and so that was a really big win. Also, I don't watch this show, but it still just made me happy. I feel like he really deserved it. Was Jeff Hiller?
Yes, from Somebody Somewhere. I think you would like the show. It is it's an interesting. I love that he was like. I love that they put like a gay guy in the middle of nowhere on the same network where it's like horny teens in Euphoria or whatever.
And he said that he was like, when everybody looked at me and said like, no, you should do computers or something.
Yes. And he really is like the light of that show. Like I love him so much. I think you would like it. It's like
so too. I just it's not on my radar. And honestly, the thing about him winning is like, it's really the only Emmy the show will win. And apparently it should have received way more recognition. And so I'm always happy to see like surprise, like he seems like he really deserved it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in that category deserved it.
And I think like that show really deserves more. It's one of those things, it's like a sleeper, like it's always brought up as like, this show is great. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. I don't think HBO really advertises it very much. And it's like, it's kind of hard to explain to draw like people in. It's just like about two like people in the middle of nowhere kind of like living their lives, you know? And it's a very sweet and like emotionally touching show. But I love seeing him win. I want to see him in more things. He's great.
I know. That was a really good surprise. Like I was just happy to see that. Yeah. And so like some of the snubs were interesting because there was no love for the bear that night. Like
you could tell,
I think critics are just kind of over that show.
The audience tone whenever they would mention the bear was literally just like,
Yeah, like I noticed they didn't get as much like applause. Jeremy Allen White wasn't even there that night. I saw a tweet that was like, the bear cast isn't even there. Y'all broke their spirit.
As they should.
They really were. Comedy is so fickle. Well, I guess drama is too, but like as far as like comedy, it's like, remember when like it always goes like when Abbott Elementary was just sort of like the comedy darling, then it was the bear, and now it's the studio. Like it's just funny, but yeah, the bear got nothing. Yeah. And actually, and I'm not counting the creative Emmys here, but the bear got nothing. The Last of Us got nothing, and The White Lotus took home like absolutely no Emmys, which is kind of crazy. But I think with The White Lotus, it's almost like they just overloaded it with so many nominations, and then none of them won.
I think that too, and also like again when you see what it's stacked up against, like I love The White Lotus. I don't think season 3 was its best season. I don't think it would have deserved to win against anything that it was up against. The same thing with The Bear, obviously. Like was it that season really
3
pissed me off. And then like The Last of Us, I wasn't surprised. Well, one, it was crazy that Pedro Pascal got nominated because he literally, like, is only in the show for
one
2
episode,
episodes
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I, like, again, the things that it was up against, I was kind of like, yes, this makes sense. The studio winning as much as it did not shock me because Hollywood loves things about Hollywood. Like, there
Yeah.
are so many cameos, and it's good. It's a genuinely good show, but I was like, it's gonna win big time in a lot of roles because, like, that it's just what it's about, you know?
I was a little surprised that Seth Rogen won. I mean, well, I wasn't surprised. I did predict it, but I guess he was really good in it. But I was kind of like, wow, I've never thought of him as like winning an award for acting. Like he was good in it though. I'm not mad about it.
He was good. I don't think, like, I wouldn't have picked him to win if I didn't think like he was gonna win. And I think, again, it's almost like a nepo baby of Hollywood type of thing where it's like, well, yeah. Of course we're gonna pick this. It's about us, you know?
Yeah.
In a certain way.
Yeah.
But again, I do love this show and I think it's very good.
Yeah, I wasn't mad that it won. It's just, I don't know if it necessarily deserved as many Emmys as it got, but I liked it a lot.
I was surprised Dying for Sex, like, basically, I don't think it won anything, right?
Never watched that show.
I never watched it either, but people loved it. Like, all the reviewers, all the, like, voting members of parliament.
I was getting a little scared. I kind of thought, because I had chosen, like, I predicted Kristen Milioti as winning for The Penguin, and then I was like, maybe it's going to be Michelle. And then it ended up being Kristen, which I didn't watch Dying for Sex, but I did watch The Penguin. That was very well deserved. She was incredible in that show. She was
wild on stage, though.
Did you see? I saw a video of her at, like, an after party, and she fully, like, she tripped. She didn't look drunk. She fully fell on her face, like, dropped the Emmy.
Oh my God. Wild.
She, but with that though, her speech was really wild. She was, like, kind of yelling, but she was so joyful. And I feel like we don't see that anymore of like Stephen Graham and, like, her, like, they just were so happy that they won. Same with Jeff Hiller. Like, I was just, like, happy to see just, like, so much joy with the winning. Like, I felt like I was, like, they were all just so happy to win.
I feel like that would be, like, if it were me, I would either be like that or I would be, like, so frazzled that I'd just be like,
oh,
what?
Yeah.
And you know what I loved, though, about Britt Lauer winning is, one, that her dress had pockets, and two, that she just, like, coyly pulled her speech out of her pocket. And it reminds me of that episode of The Studio where Zoe Kravitz is like, no, I didn't, like, write a speech because, like, I'm not gonna win. And I'm like, if you're nominated and you don't write a speech, that would be absolutely idiotic. Like, people who come up there and they're like, I didn't prepare a speech for this, which no one did last night, Sunday, thank God. But I hate when people go up and do that because I'm like, if you really didn't write a speech, that's so stupid.
Yeah, because you just never know. I'm sure Jeff Hiller didn't expect to win.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, one thing I love, my favorite speech of the night was Tremel Tillman, who won for Severing. And he absolutely deserved it. I was so happy he won. And his speech was the best speech I've ever heard. It was so clean. It was within that 40 seconds that they wanted. And he gave, like, this really, like, it was just, like, such a well-prepared, and he was prepared. Yes. He was like, yeah, I knew I was going to win.
Yeah, he deserved to. I'm literally getting chills as we're talking about it because it was so, like, we were, like, sitting there listening to him because it was, like, he was quoting his mom, but you didn't know at first, and then he was, like, he basically was like, and I had a really, he had a really tough, like, first acting coach, but all mothers are or whatever. And we were all like, oh my God, I'm gonna, like, tear up. Yeah.
I really almost cried. It was so
he is so elegant and smooth. I love him. And he deserved to, like, if he hadn't won, I would have been like, I'm never watching the Emmys again.
Well, he was up against a bunch of White Lotus people. So I was like, I could, but I was just,
his performance was pitch perfect.
Yes.
I don't know.
And I do also want to, like, talk about Owen Cooper because, I expected him to win, but it was kind of my favorite moment because when he won the Emmy, like, I love seeing talented children get recognized because I think a lot of the time, like, they're looked over because they're children and they don't often win. He had, like, a historic win. Mm-hmm. And he made a comment during his speech that we kind of laughed at. Like, he said, 3 years ago, I was nothing. Yeah. Which we were kind of laughing because we were like, well, 3 years ago you were 12. But what I think he meant was he was referring to the fact that he kind of comes from, like, a, middle class, like, working class background, or, not middle class, but working class background. And you know, he really was just like discovered talent. He didn't come from like a privileged background. He's not a nepo
Because this
baby.
is his first acting role, to be clear.
It was his first acting role. And I think it's just a testament to giving kids from everywhere access to the arts. And so I was just like really happy to see. And so I think like that's kind of what he meant, because we were like, I was nothing.
Yeah.
But I think, I do think that's like, it was actually really touching. And I think it's so important that, you know, that we're seeing it wasn't just a nepo baby. He was actually he's such a baby. Definitely. Yeah, he definitely deserved that.
And I've been thinking, it's been popping in my head, the screenshot you sent where someone commented, it was like him winning, and they were like, his dad is bald, oh no, that means he's gonna lose his hair. It just really made me
why
laugh.
are they thinking about that?
I mean, his hair is phenomenal, but he has like it's the Gen Z hair, like my little cousin's kid has it too, and they all stand the same, and they like don't smile a lot, like they're all very like shy, like, you know what I mean?
He's really cool. Like, he's so cool.
He's so cool.
And did you see so he was with his parents the whole night, and like there was like a video of him at the after party, and they're all like, he's with his parents at an after party, and his parents are standing there smoking. Like, it's the most British like table ever. Like, they're all just like standing there in the smoking section, like he's with them.
Absolutely.
And like I love it. Like, he's great, and I want to see him hopefully now in more things. I think he's going to be in Wuthering Heights, which will
he is. Yeah, he does look like he could be a young Jacob Elordi. I also like Stephen Graham won for like, I think, what is it, Best Actor in a Limited Series?
Yes.
And I definitely like, I had originally put what's his face from The Penguin?
Colin Farrell.
I was gonna say Norman Bates. That's strange. Anyways, and Stephen Graham won, and I will say I've never seen The Penguin, but I mean, his performance in Adolescence, I wanted him to win, because I rewatched it with Chris a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And like that last scene, I was once again like crying. Like, it is crazy amazing.
I think the thing was, like, if you haven't seen The Penguin, he does give an incredible performance, and normally I don't think like, you know, sometimes I think like there's we mistake like prosthetics for great acting, but truly, like, you don't know that's Colin Farrell, and that's not just the prosthetics. Like, he's just a different person, like, and he just really is so good in that show. But so if it hadn't been the Adolescence year, I do think Colin Farrell should have and maybe would have won. But Stephen Graham did deserve it, and I loved seeing. That's another one where he was just like so joyful to win, and everyone like tackled him when he won, and like that was sitting around him.
Yes, the way they grabbed him and they were like shaking him.
Yeah. And then I think, so kind of the big like darling of the Emmys that night was The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, his speech was good too.
It was like, it actually was really touching, and it kind of like, because he said, it made me kind of rethink things, you know, just like, oh, that's like a really good way to look at it. And I think you know, because of its cancellation, it was almost, I said this to you that night, but it was almost treated as like an honorary Emmy, where it's like everybody stood, no one was counting the time, like it was just like he even came out and presented right at the top of the show, and everyone stood up for him. Like, it was definitely I felt like it was like just treated as like almost like an honorary Emmy, but because he's never won before, and I go, it'll be his last one, but it won for Best Talk Series. And
and he ended it by saying, it was something along the lines of like, you never know how much you love something until you're about to lose it. And he was like, and I've never loved my country more. And it was just like, wow, that's like, it was just very powerful.
Where you grieve the loss of it, basically. It was
just really powerful. I also really loved, I think Noah Wyle did a really good job of like balancing like joy and like humbleness, because he won for lead actor in a drama. And he also said, because, you know, it's For the Pit, which is a medical drama, and he was like, this one is going out to anyone who's, like, ending their shift or starting their shift, and I thought that was nice. But just, like, the way he did it was, like, you could tell he's genuinely joyful, but also, like, feels very humble about it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and we can talk about this more with the style later, when I'm sure, you know, we're going to talk about outfits, but, like, Noah Wyle was wearing a tuxedo made of scrubs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I know. I was like, that's wild.
Yeah. I feel like if you want to get into outfits, I feel like there's only a few that really stood out to me. I think there were some nice, like, there were some good ones for the men that I just like, I think Tramel Tillman, what did they say when they announced his name? Trammell Tillman.
Yeah,
killed me.
Jason Bateman pronounced it and that actually pissed a lot of people off. Like that was kind of like,
Yeah, that's insane. Anyways, um, but he obviously looked amazing. I will say my number one of the night was she's not even nominated, but Sydney Sweeney came out. She came out and I said, "Wow, look at that Republican queen!" Like, just absolutely, like she looked amazing.
she did look amazing. Yeah, she looked, especially her hair. Like I felt like
Yeah.
she just looked very like old Hollywood, and she did look really
framed
good.
her amazingly. Like, she looked stunning.
No, I wonder how she felt like going out there, like, like was she kind of just with everything? Like I just was like, I wonder if she's like nervous to be seen public right now, like
I
just or
would
it's
be,
not her
but
first public appearance in a long
especially
time.
like I feel like she's got to be like a lone shark in the Republican waters there at the
You know,
Emmys.
I don't think so. I
Really?
think I actually sometimes think it's more than
But at least with
people
the other people,
realize.
they can probably hide it,
Hide it, yeah,
whereas
yeah,
she
yeah.
was just like outed in front of the whole world.
Oh, that's, yeah, definitely. But I do wonder, like, if kind of behind closed after party doors, like people are
Yeah,
like, hey, like I do wonder if it's,
you did
I
too.
don't
I
think
mean,
it's as, I don't think Hollywood is as liberal as sometimes people think it is.
yeah, that's true. I could see that. Um, and then I also like, again, not people who are winning, but Lauren Graham and Alexis Bledel for the Gilmore Girls like reunion. Their outfits, especially, I loved Lauren Graham's dress. It looked beautiful.
Yes, they did look really good, and that was a nice, like, I didn't really watch Gilmore Girls, but that was actually a nice tribute that they did.
Yeah.
How did actually to go? I'm going back a little bit. How did you feel about? Because I'm a huge fan of Golden Girls. I love the theme song, so I was really happy to see like Reba coming out. And sorry if you can hear Matilda right now. I loved not seeing them come out and sing, but I like they did not really match her vocals. I was kind of like, that
No.
doesn't sound great.
I I mean, Reba, I think, like, kind of outshined them all. I think, like, overall the musical performances were meh.
Meh, yeah.
The In Memoriam with, I don't remember what her name is, but she's a country artist. She sounded
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, but it was still like I don't know, it wasn't one of, like, it was not like Cynthia Erivo at the Oscars, you know?
Well, we were commenting, so we don't know country music, but we
Yeah.
were like watching with Chris and Megan was like, because we point out, we're like, why is she wearing that big? It felt really distracting for an in memoriam. She was wearing like a big cowgirl
Yeah.
hat, and we're like, that just seems like a little weird. And she was like, that's her look. Like she just always wears that. And we're like, you're supposed to take your hat off when you're like,
Like,
I don't know.
if
It's
it's
just
like a
so
funeral or
weird.
something, like, you would respectfully, like, I don't really care if that's your look, like, you should probably
It
take
just,
your
yeah.
hat off, but
It's not like a huge deal. I just was kind of
yeah.
like, it just felt like kind of weird. But so my favorite look was probably Selena Gomez, actually.
Oh yeah, she looked very like elegant and beautiful. I feel like she's really in her like her positive era. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just
Yeah,
like
she seems a lot like whenever I see her now in
happy,
interviews, she does seem a little bit more easy
joyful.
to listen to and
Yeah.
watch, I guess I would say.
I'm Selena Gomez and I'm really happy. Like, and that's how you know,
Yeah,
like, her voice does not change at all, but somehow you can tell you're just
no.
like, she sounds really happy.
Well, I was watching Only Murders in the Building, and Matthew doesn't watch it, but he was like in the room while I was watching it. And he was like, this is the first time I've heard her speak since Wizards of Waverly Place. And he was like, why does she sound like that? And I was like, I don't know. Some
That's
people say it's
crazy.
the lupus, but I'm not sure how that would affect her
I think
voice.
she's
But
always kind of sounded like that a little
yeah,
bit.
but that being said, I did think she looked really beautiful. She's wearing
Yeah.
a red Louis Vuitton gown, and it just looked very old Hollywood. She had the ponytail and like the
Yeah.
earrings. She just like looked really good. Um,
Oh,
my other
go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say my other favorite was Lisa.
Oh yeah, which I didn't even see her on camera or anything. You like showed me a picture.
Yeah, she was on. Yeah, I don't think she presented or
The
anything.
pink
I guess she was
dress,
there for the
right?
White Lotus, but it was like a pink swirly like rose gown. Like it was just, I
Yeah.
don't know how to describe it, but it was really pretty.
Yeah. It looked really beautiful. Jenna Ortega's outfit, I did really
Mhm.
like for. I was like, because it's literally like all these beads like draped around her chest. I was like, they must have some kind of super glue making sure those beads do not move from her nipples because it's crazy. However, I will say I'm just really not about the no eyebrow look.
Oh yeah. Well,
I hate it on everyone I see it on. I'm just like,
I know. Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that with her, but her outfit was the most notable for me, not necessarily because I like loved it. It was just like the wow factor when she came out to present.
yeah.
Like people in the audience were like, wow, like it just was like it was a jeweled top. It was Givenchy, and it was apparently, I don't know if this is accurate, but I did read this. I don't know if like officially this is what it was, but like it was supposed to be a nod to Death Becomes Her.
Yes, so I saw that too. Someone was like, if I had a nickel for every time Jenna Ortega references Death Becomes Her, and it was like this and the Sabrina Carpenter music video, and all the comments were like, so you'd have 2 nickels?
Yeah,
like
it was. Yeah, right. But I feel like she goes for that goth glam look a lot.
Yeah,
so.
she definitely does now. There weren't a lot of outfits that I like hated. I'll be honest, I didn't like Erin Doherty's dress. She won and she deserved it, but her dress, I was like, I think like honestly a lot of the outfits, they just didn't stand out to me. You know, there wasn't a lot that like they were all just like,
Well, as far as like men, I will say like that stood out. Tremel Tillman and Coleman Domingo.
Alan Cumming.
Alan Cumming, and that's expected. I loved Walton Goggins' look. He looked really good.
He looked so tan. I'm not kidding. I was like, what?
He always does.
Get that man some sunscreen.
I know.
Because it doesn't look like a fake tan. It looks like he's been baking.
Right. I don't think he
rotisserie chicken.
It would almost like be ridiculous if it was like a fake tan.
Yeah, because he always has his shirt like unbuttoned too.
I know, but I thought he looked really good. Also, sunglasses were definitely the look that night. Pedro Pascal, Ayo Edebiri, and then there's somebody else who was wearing, maybe it was Walton Goggins, but like there were like 3 people who had like sunglasses as part of their look, and it looked really good. So did you see Megan Stalter?
Oh yeah. Okay, so she just wore like a t-shirt, jeans, and then she had a Free Palestine sticker on her bag.
Yeah, so she had and she had a bag that like it called for a ceasefire, and that was actually one of the few people who pay tribute with like protest symbols, because Javier Bardem wore a traditional Palestinian, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, keffiyeh.
Okay.
And of course Hannah Einbinder said "Free Palestine" at the end of her speech.
Yeah,
so there was,
I actually loved what she said. It was like she said "Fuck ICE, free Palestine, and go birds."
Yeah, go birds. Yeah. Yeah. So that was interesting to see. There was there was a lot of that, and I think Megan. So I was gonna say though, with Megan Stalter, I'm a fan of her acting. I don't know how I feel about her bit sometimes, like her character sometimes. Like the t-shirt and jeans, I was kind of like, what are we doing here?
It's very her though. So I don't really like it, but I would be curious if it got nominated next year, like what she would wear if she's nominated. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, for Too Much? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I actually don't know, like, why she was there.
Well, she's in Hacks.
Oh my god, that's right. Which Hacks, Jean Smart won again. Love that for her.
Yeah.
And like Hannah Einbinder won. What?
I said, that was like her 4th time winning.
Yeah, and she deserves it. I'm gonna be honest, like, for that role, again, it's just like every season, it's like, it just gets richer and richer, and I really love that for her. I want to be her when I grow up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, those were kind of all my sort of my most notable moments.
And you know what? I want to give a shout out to us. Go follow us on our TikTok. We made a little video of all of our snacks that we made. We try to make, like, for the Oscars and the Emmys, little themed snacks. So I know I made Milcheck's Fireside frozen s'mores, and then I made Put Your Phone Away poppers for adolescents. You made Only Meatballs in the Building. Meatballs. And, excuse me, you made Pigs in a Blanket, and you called them,
Severed Sausages.
Severed Sausages. And then Megan, shout out Megan, made Yes Chef Sliders. And then the mimosas were...
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you,
what's his
Sal
name?
Saperstein
Sal
mimosas.
Saperstein. There was not enough thank you. There were no. I was
Yeah.
expecting, if you watch the studio, there's like a bit in one of the episodes at the Golden Globes where they like keep thanking Sal Saperstein, and they did it at the Creative Emmys. They like made a joke out of it where everybody thanked Sal Saperstein, but I was surprised they didn't do. The studio won so many times. I was surprised they didn't do that.
I think, well, they did it during the Creative Emmys, and maybe like it probably would have been overkill to just do it again. And also, only 45 seconds or those kids lose their lives, you know? So.
I know, but nobody, like, you don't get to really see the Creative Emmys, so, like, the audiences.
Yeah.
Would be able to see the primetime Emmys. Like,
I guess,
whatever,
I don't know. Maybe people aren't really thinking about it, but yeah, overall, I thought it was like. It wasn't like a notable Emmys, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't like, wow, I loved everything. Like, everything was kind of like, for the most part, predictable. The outfits were fine. Do you prefer, like, in terms of tone, like the Emmys or the Oscars usually?
In terms of tone, I think the Emmys are always going to be more, like, less serious and more fun.
Which is interesting.
But I just didn't really think, this one felt really low energy to me. And I think that's what I was kind of saying. It was like, it felt, I think just overall, it just was kind of like so-so. But to me, like, the notable part was the winners. I really was happy with all the winners.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess that's all we had to say about the Emmys. They happened. We watched them. We came, we saw, and we enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
However you say that in Latin. Like, you know, like, came, we saw, we conquered, like.
Oh.
Now I forget the phrase. But anyways, yeah. But to get into another fun topic, I guess, we both saw Caught Stealing.
Yes, we did.
Which is a movie filled with baseball metaphors for those fans, and they went right over, just like a ball getting hit out of the park, they went right over our heads.
Right over our heads. I think it did make sense once I knew that.
Yeah, once I looked them up and, like, figured it out, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But in the midst of the moment, I was not thinking about baseball, besides the fact that, so if you don't know, it's a movie with Austin Butler. His character is, like, obsessed with baseball, but he had an injury when he was younger, so he can't play professionally, and he gets involved in some mob activity accidentally. And I will say, I'm not a sports person, and Chris is, like, a huge sports person, and sometimes, like, he talks about sports so much, I literally, like, zone out, like, really hard. But I was like, wow, I could never date someone like this man who's, like, in the hospital, the first thing he's doing is checking the baseball score of, I was like, that's insane. That's a problem. You should see someone.
Yeah. He definitely did not put himself first, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was, so I went into this movie not really knowing what it was about at all. Like, I've seen the previews, and it's funny because I was talking to friend of the pod, Eric, about this the other day, and he was saying that, like, he was like, yeah, I saw the previews for that, but I just, for some reason, had no, like, interest in seeing it, and I kind of actually agreed. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know if I'm really interested in seeing that. Like, it just didn't really draw me in.
Yeah.
I'm glad I saw it. I actually did. I liked it. I thought for a Darren Aronofsky movie, it was like cute somehow. Like, it was actually kind of almost like a cute movie. Like, not cute, but it felt like probably one of his more, like, wholesome movies, I guess.
Yeah. Which I think helped to balance out, like, it's very action oriented, which I usually don't enjoy, but I think because there was, like, a sense of wholesomeness to it, that made me, like, enjoy the action part of it.
It didn't feel heavy on the action to me. It felt just more like a mob gangster film almost.
Really? I don't know. There were some parts where I'm like, oh, you literally saw, like, the bone inside of his thigh breaking, or, like, when they're going to torture him and they're, like, breaking his stitches on the side. I was literally at one point covering my eyes. Molly's like, not a big deal, no worries.
Well, I just forgot about those, but, like, the scenes in the car, I thought Matt Smith was very funny in it. And it was funny because his character, whenever I saw him in the preview, I was like, why does he look like that with that mohawk? Like, but I didn't realize until we watched the movie that it takes place in the 90s. And so he was supposed to be like 90s, like, British punk. So that made sense. But I actually, and you know who else I thought wasn't terrible? And he, for some reason, is an actor now, but Bad Bunny I thought was actually good in it.
I know, he's like been in 4 or 5 things this year. And the thing is, it's like not big roles, but I'm just like, oh, wow, okay. But
it's enough as, like, almost like a cameo where you're like, that's Bad Bunny.
Which I feel like this movie had, like, a lot of, not cameos, but, like, big names in side parts. You know,
Yeah.
because even like Lee Shriver is in it, and I forget his name, but the guy from SVU, I forget his name, but he's been in a bunch of stuff. Anyways, he's also in Men in Black too. He's been in so many other
honestly,
things.
I have not
That's all
seen
I can
either of
think of.
those.
He's in it, and then Bad Bunny is in it. Matt Smith, and also Matt Smith like shows up, and then he kind of disappears. And you're the whole time I'm like, you have to bring him back. Not only is he Matt Smith, but there's no way you have a character in this film who has a giant, colorful mohawk, and he doesn't make like a reappearance. You know?
Well, so he's also, he's going to make a reappearance because he's kind of the reason Austin
Yeah.
Butler's character is in this situation. So basically, Matt Smith plays Austin Butler's neighbor. And at the beginning of the movie, Austin Butler works at a bar, and he comes home, and he's working at a bar, living in New York City in the 90s. Was supposed to be this like professional baseball player, but this like devastating injury caused him to not be able to do that. And so he comes home to see Matt Smith like on his way out, like he's asking him to watch his cat for him while he goes to take care of his like mother or something, I don't remember. And he kind of like rushes out, and basically Austin Butler gets caught up in this this situation that he's not supposed to be in, where these people are after Matt Smith, and so they're trying to break into his apartment, and they basically target Austin Butler now.
Yeah.
And it just becomes this chase. It's basically a whole chase scene, and we say a baseball metaphor because he's trying to make it home.
Yeah. He just keeps saying, "I just want to go home." Like the whole time.
To his mom. Yeah. And Austin Butler was very good in it. I just love Austin Butler. And I think one thing that's made me happy is I think he's actually officially losing his Elvis accent.
Yeah, I think it's literally gone to the wayside. In this movie, I wasn't sure what accent he was placing, because literally in the first scene it sounded heavy New York, and then he says he's from California, and the rest of the time like it doesn't feel New York, but then sometimes like I was just like, I think maybe his accent speedometer is a little off now, but I think
I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah, exactly. He just goes back to Elvis forever. Also Zoe Kravitz is in this film, and there's a scene, it's the same scene both you and I clocked, where you're like, they're like kind of making out, and he like lifts her up, and like they sit on the bed and they're making out, and I said, these are two hot people who know that they're hot and that they're being hot, you know? Like it was very like, I was like, yeah, they're attractive people.
Yeah, they had good chemistry. Yeah. Zoe, not to spoil it, but Zoe Kravitz isn't in it for a very long time.
Yeah. Would you think that she was? I feel like Matt Smith was almost in it as much as she was.
Yeah, I think so.
I was very excited for the cat in this, because this popped up on like a list on Instagram of like films that are good for like animal lovers. And I was just like, wow, like I was really, at one point, the cat like isn't in it for a while, and I remember turning to you and being like, what happened to the cat? Like, where is it?
I know, they kept kind of, at one point, what made me sad was they obviously hurt him because he was in a little like in a little like cast, and I didn't like that.
I was about to say a wheelchair, and then I remember we were talking about a cat. It's just in a little cat wheelchair.
Little cat brace, and it was really sad. But he was a very memorable cat. His name was Bud, I think. That was his name.
And it's so sweet, because originally, like, Austin Butler, is the, like, stereotypical guy who doesn't want the pet, and then it's like he literally is the only thing he cares about. And, however, it did remind me of the cat in A Quiet Place Day One, where it's just like, I don't know any cat in this world. My cat, Misty, would have, if we were in a car accident, she would have been like, bye, see you later, I'm gonna find a new owner.
Yeah, that cat, much like in A Quiet Place Day One, that cat found its way back to the owner that wasn't actually its owner. Actually, never mind. Yeah. That was a good cat actor.
Yeah. Cactor. But overall, like, it's not, I don't think it's going to be, like, a notable movie. It kind of reminds me of The Roses in that way, where, like, I enjoyed the experience. I don't think I will watch it again. I don't know if it would be something I'd recommend to a lot of people.
No, I wasn't sure. Yeah, I actually am lumping the two of those movies in the same because we saw them one week after another, and they both felt kind of similar amounts of memorable to me, where I'm like, I think I actually liked Caught Stealing a little bit more. But it's just, they're also very different genres, so.
They are, but they kind of, they just feel like they're living in the same place in my head for some reason.
Yeah, same.
But speaking of complicated relationships, so I just wanted to touch on the fact that my favorite follow on TikTok and Instagram, Nina Dobrev. And her now ex-fiance, Shaun White, have split over like 5.5 years ago. After 5.5 years together. They have split up, which is crazy because they like just got engaged like a month or two ago.
It's funny because you were like one of 3 people who texted me about this. And it's funny because I'm not like, I mean, people really care. I've never thought about them really. Like, I don't think about them.
I just love Nina Dobrev. Like, when I was younger, I tried so hard for someone to be like, oh, you look like that girl from Vampire Diaries. Like, I would wear my hair like her. I would be like journaling in class, like looking up broodingly. Like acting like a vampire. No, I'm just kidding.
And does she really act anymore? Like, is she in anything?
Yeah, she's been in a couple things. She was in this Christmas movie a couple years ago that I actually really loved. I forget the name of it now, but it was actually really funny. She was in that Christian movie, Redeeming Love. That was apparently, like, a big deal. And then she's been in, like, a couple of things here and there. I think she does, like, a lot of, like, modeling and sponsorship things. But I think she's also maybe, like, in a place where she can kind of pick and choose. Oh, she was in a movie recently with Adam Levine. I don't remember what it was, but they did a bunch of promo for it. And so I think she's like an okay actress overall. But it was so interesting when her and Shaun White got together because it was just like 2 people that you don't expect, you know? And they seemed really happy together. Like, they were always, like, posting about each other, like, taking all these videos together. And, like, again, he just proposed, like, a few months ago. And so there was a lot of rumors online that he cheated on her, especially because she posted to her TikTok. It was, like, this, like, sound clip that she was doing with her mouth where it was, like, talking about, like, oh, you say you want to build, or you want to fix your man. Well, you're looking like Bob the Builder, and it's going to take 10 people to fix your man, or something like that. That's, like, literally not the exact quote. And so I think that's what started it. And because people have said that, like, Shaun White has cheated on, like, other significant others. I don't know if that's true. But apparently insider sources have said that it wasn't due to cheating, but they don't say what it was due to. And, like, they had literally started, like, I think they had just started wedding planning and all that stuff. And so it's just interesting because I'm, like, I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, maybe it had to do with your snowboarding theory. Remember when you said,
oh, yeah,
what if it's hard to date a snowboarder?
Yes, well, because he's an Olympic snowboarder, and she posted this video of them going snowboarding together. And if it were me, I'd be like...
Maybe he was like, she is not good at snowboarding.
She cannot cut this.
You gotta end this.
No, she can't cut it as a snowboarder. She can't cut it as my wife. Like, if it were me and I were Nina Dobrev snowboarding with an Olympian, I'd be like, I'll just be in the lodge. I don't want you to see me do this. Even if I know how to snowboard.
Like, I'll be at the ice rink or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll go skiing.
Yeah, exactly. Or I would just, like, hire someone that has, like, the same build as me, because you don't know. They're wearing, like, a skiing helmet or whatever. And that way
a wife stand-in.
Yes, exactly. And at the end, he's just like, wow, that's crazy, and they don't speak at all. Anyways, that's my new, like, plot of a Disney show.
It sounds like something Nina Dobrev could star in, because...
Yeah, she has experience.
No shade to her, but I think she is kind of only doing, like, maybe some...
Yeah.
Netflix-ish movies. I actually really don't know. She was, as you said, she was in that movie. It's Adam Devine, by the way.
Oh, sorry. I always get them confused.
It's okay. I just wanted to go back to that in case people were really Adam Devine fans.
Yeah.
Like I am. I really am. But
do you think,
sorry to them.
Do you think Netflix is like the new Lifetime? Because I feel like Netflix just has like movies now that are good, some are good, and some you're just like, ew, what?
I do think so. Like, I think it's the same whereas, like, if you have like, maybe not even Lifetime, but, like, Hallmark or something, where, like, if you have a contract with them, you know what, you're solid, but you're not necessarily, like, that's what you're known for, is kind of like, what's the one, Sophia Carson? I feel like she kind of has a similar
like, it's
thing.
crazy for Netflix to be like, here's my Oxford year, also look forward to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. You know, like, what a spectrum of events that is.
Yeah, and we were talking about that with Lindsay Lohan the other day, because we were talking about Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, which is my favorite Lindsay Lohan movie to this day.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how she used to be in just like banger after banger, and she was almost like a better actor as a kid than definitely she was.
Yeah.
But than she is now. But she's only doing really like these like kind of holiday Netflix movies, which like get your bag. Like that's you know.
If that's bringing you joy, like, go ahead.
And also, I think it's pretty successful, but I still, like, it's kind of what you're going to be in, you know?
People love those movies, so it's got to be bringing
Yeah.
something to the table. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's all I wanted to say about them. I just, like, R.I.P. Maybe they'll work it out, maybe they won't, but hopefully she keeps the ring.
What do you do with a...
Well, I was gonna say resale, but I guess she doesn't need she probably doesn't need the money, but, you know, it's very interesting. Yeah.
I would still go for it, maybe. I don't know. You never know.
That's true. Keep it in savings. Give it to your, like, great-grandchildren when you're 107. Be like, this is when I was engaged to an Olympic snowboarder that wasn't your great-grandfather.
Yeah.
Like,
Dang.
okay, Grammy, sure. It's like that meme, like, sure, Grandma. But, okay, getting into some other family drama, so I know you know the plot of this, but I've been meaning to talk about it. The Unknown Number documentary on Netflix has been, I knew, like, my sister texted me about it, who also, she just had her baby this morning, so shout out to her and her baby.
Congratulations.
Because I know I mentioned it last week, so just a little update there. But she texted me about it, and it's always like if my mom or my dad or my sister like knows about something, I'm like, wow, this has really hit the zeitgeist, you know, like this is culturally significant. And so the Unknown Number documentary, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, because I'm gonna get into some spoilers, but it's pretty crazy where it talks about these kids in the middle of nowhere, and this girl gets all of these texts from, like, it's literally spam text. It's like over and over and over again, like from kind of like a hidden number that she can't block. And it's crazy text where it's like, I hope you kill yourself. She's like, your boyfriend makes me creamy, like gross things like that. All the time. Like, she's like, you're an anorexic flat-ass bitch, like texting this girl constantly, and then also texting the girl's boyfriend all the time. Again, it's an unknown spam number. Eventually, like, the FBI comes in and tries to solve it, and it's funny listening to this FBI being like, yeah, like, I talked to Haley and Caden, because they're like, you know, there's a lot of drama going on in that group, so I thought maybe it was them, where it's just like an FBI agent just, like, getting involved in drama. And there's this one girl who they pin down as maybe it's her, and it's so funny. Chris and I were laughing about the way they talk about this girl, because they're like, yeah, people say that she's a bully. I can't remember her name now, but it's something like Kayla, or one of those, like, you know, high school names. You know what I mean?
They don't have the name any time else in their life. High school.
No. And even the boyfriend's like, yeah, she's been one of my closest friends for years. Like, would I say she's a nice person? No. He's like, she's not a particularly kind person. And they interview her parents, and they're like, yeah, like, she did get pulled in for bullying, like, multiple times when she was in middle school, but, like, it wasn't true. She just is someone, she has a lot of friends from a lot of different schools, and, like, people get really jealous of that. And we're listening to this, and I'm just like, it sounds like outside of all of this, regardless, your daughter is maybe a bully.
Yeah.
Like, no offense, but it sounds like she's not a nice person.
Yeah.
And when they interview the parents at the end, even the way they're talking, like, we were just sitting there, we're just like, you guys sound like assholes that raised an asshole. Like,
yeah,
you guys sound awful. But, so they eventually get down to, like, and the way they do this documentary, you're like, who is it? Like, you wouldn't expect the person who's in the documentary to be, like, the person who's done it, but it is, and it's the girl's mom, who has been texting her for 2 years saying things like, your boyfriend makes me creamy, or I'm gonna, like, I'm gonna make him come, or, like, you can't give him BJs like I can. Stuff like that, telling her to kill herself, blah, blah, blah. And she basically, like, has a background in IT, so she knew how to, like, hide her number, but not well enough that the FBI couldn't, like, track it back to her. She'd been
Imagine them finding that out. Like,
they show it. It's crazy. Like, they have the body cam footage of when they go to the house, the mom comes out, and they're like, hey, we gotta talk to you. Where's your daughter? And they're like, so we trace the numbers back to you. And she's just like, okay. And he's like, do you admit that it's you? And she was like, well, not at first. Which is crazy, because she says...
Who was it at first?
It's definitely her the whole time, because the first messages are like when they're going to some campfire or something, some party, and that's when the daughter starts getting the messages, and then she doesn't get them for like a year. So the mom tries to like validate her behavior by being like, I just wanted to figure out who was sending the messages originally, so then I figured like if I started sending the messages, then someone would slip up and tell me who was sending them or some, and it's like that doesn't make any logical
What?
sense. It's
Yeah,
insane.
even you explaining that like made no sense.
It's literally like, no, you were doing this from the start.
So was the daughter in the room when they said it?
They brought her in after like she confirmed it and told her, and the daughter, like, the thing is people are really like hating on her because she didn't really have any reaction. And it's funny because earlier in the documentary, like, a couple of the friends are like, yeah, like, she just doesn't, she's not like an emotional person, and the whole time
Yeah.
she's talking it's like, yeah, this girl like just doesn't emit any emotions, you know?
Well, I mean, she's probably also in shock.
Yeah, but also like, I'm just like, this is how I expected this person who's been talking this whole time to react. So she's just kind of silent, and then the police officer says something where he's like, we're gonna have to like let people know, and then the mom is like, no, like, how is she gonna go to school after this gets out? And and she's like literally like hugging her daughter's head while she's doing this, like rubbing
She
her
shouldn't even be
arm.
living with her.
It's crazy. And I'm like, well, you should have thought about that before you texted her about coming for 2 years. Like, that's insane.
How is she currently doing this documentary and is not in jail? Like,
So
I feel like the texts are very
yeah.
It's almost like it's not it's not CP, but it's kind of, it feels like it is somehow. Like, she's texting teenagers this stuff.
So she did go to jail. I want to say it was like for a year or a year and a half, and so she's out now.
Okay.
But throughout that whole time, like, what also is crazy is that the daughter like kind of like not forgave her, but was just like, I mean, she's my mom, like, I want to have a relationship with her. And so they show some of the emails back and forth, and you're like, this mom seems like a crazy person. She's like sending messages to her daughter where she's like, I love, 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 love you, like, at the end of them. And it's just like, so it's crazy intense manipulation. And it's also like, they talk about how she's kind of a master manipulator, and like in court she's just like talking about why she did it, and she was like, obviously, like, I was in a really bad place and it just kind of got away from me, and like I just really didn't know what to do about it. And it's like, you were in a bad place, and they actually asked her, they were like, you weren't concerned that your daughter was gonna kill herself after you told her to?
Yeah.
And she said, no, like, after the conversations that I'd had with her, like, I just didn't think she would do something like that. And it's...
Does the daughter still live with the mom?
No, she lives with the dad, and the mom, I think, lives separately. But I think the daughter either is close to or is about to be 18 now, so I don't know, like, what that's going to be. But I'm like, you have got to not talk to her. Because also, the mom this whole time, so the dad thinks that the mom has a job the whole time, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
She's the one who's managing all the finances. So they're like getting notices on their door about like eviction and stuff like that, and she's just like, oh yeah, I forgot a couple of bills or whatever, which is insane. But I guess if you really like trust your spouse of like 20 years, then you'd be like, yeah, why would they have any other reason but to tell me the truth? But if it were me, I would be like, I'm gonna just take a quick look at these finances real quick.
There's just, I just have so many questions. So were they what was she like officially charged with?
I don't remember what it was, actually. I think it was harassment. I don't think it was anything.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it's crazy because she was in the documentary, and the way she's talking about it, like, even before you find out that it's her, like, you would never know because she's just acting like it's like a normal thing.
I'm shocked she did a documentary. Like, I'm shocked they were able to make this.
And she was just like, I'm not proud of what I've done, but I'm going to, like, talk about it anyways, or whatever. And
I wonder if she's trying to clear her name somehow, like, oh, if I do this documentary, it'll make me look favorable.
I don't know.
Which, like...
I think she's maybe, like... Because people have theories as to why she actually did it, and some people think that maybe because it was around when her daughter was like hitting puberty and like had like a boyfriend,
getting possessive, maybe.
Yeah, and I think like people thought that she was jealous of her daughter, that she was like really obsessed with the boyfriend, because it got to the point where she was texting, the boyfriend started dating someone new, and she was like spam texting that new girlfriend's mom, who lived like towns and towns away. So and it's all of like really focused on him. And I think it just was like maybe an attention thing, if I had to guess. And so doing this documentary, I'm sure she's loving the attention, even though it's like not great.
Sounds like a case of narcissistic mother.
Yeah, it's a case of something.
It's a case of something. And here's the thing. So either she could be jealous of her, but I also think it could be a thing of like, you're mine and I don't want you talking to anybody else.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I had forgotten that there was a Lifetime movie that came out a couple years ago based on this case, and it stars Lisa Rinna. It's called Mommy Meanest, and it's based on this Kendra case. And basically the whole like plot of it is that she has this like tight bond with her daughter, and so then she like because of that she does this whole scheme. So I don't know if that's how I see it, but
I think it's definitely maybe like a mix of those things. I don't know, but it's just crazy for her to be like, oh no, I love my daughter. Like, how is she going to go to school after this? When it's like, you were texting her to kill herself for 2 years.
Yeah, she definitely is not thinking about her.
It's crazy. And
that's crazy.
If I were the dad, like, I don't know the legality of it, but if my daughter were still under 18, I would be like, I need to get a restraining order from, like, against her mom. Like, she cannot be around this person.
That's why it's kind of sick to me that they're even doing a documentary interviewing both of them. Like, I would just be like,
yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a very successful documentary, so they made a good choice of that. But I just think it's crazy that the two of them can even like do they talk still? Like, are they like?
She was like, I call my mom at least once a week when she was in prison, and now like they still like talk, or like I don't know if they have like supervised visits or whatever, but they still talk.
To pay for her therapy, because that's really like the daughter's therapy, because
it feels like talking to her still. Like was it Stockholm syndrome type thing? Like, I mean, because for us, maybe like we weren't in that experience, sure. Like we wouldn't be connected to our moms like that, but we don't know like what manipulation was going on like behind closed doors with her mom.
Obviously, there was a lot because she's, it's definitely complicated, I'm sure, but that's crazy. I'd heard a lot about. It was kind of one of those things where I'd already heard sort of the big plot twist of the documentary, and I knew so much about it that I was kind of like, I just didn't feel like there was a point in me watching it now. I was like, I already know what happens, but it does sound really crazy.
It is. And it's, again, interesting because they're interviewing like all these high schoolers that it's just like, it's almost like watching a really messed up like MTV real life show or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know, interesting. But yeah, that's all I had to say about that. I think like the last thing I just wanted to touch on that I thought was interesting was that they've now announced the new Bachelorette, and it's Taylor Frankie Paul of the Mormon Wives of the soft swinging scandal fame.
Yeah, I saw that.
Crazy. I don't even watch The Bachelorette. Like, I don't care about this stuff, but I'm just like, have they done like a famous person like this? Like I don't know.
I don't know, but it will be interesting to see what angle they do with that, because if she, like, will they just have Mormon men? Like, will they have...
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, you know what I mean? There's kind of, that'll be an interesting season. Also, not just one, but two of the women from that show are going to be on Dancing with the Stars this season.
Yes.
Which is kind of crazy.
That's another thing that, like, I was reading about is, like, there's a big crossover happening right now between specifically, like, Mormon Wives and ABC shows, because they have the Dancing with the Stars, they now have the Bachelorette, and then there was apparently a crossover with, like, Vanderpump Rules.
Oh, really?
I believe...
I think it's because it's Hulu, so Hulu is owned by Disney.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. And so it's just interesting because it's almost like these things where it's like The Bachelorette has definitely seen like a dip in viewership over the past few years, and so as like Dancing with the Stars, I can't tell you a single thing about it recently. And so I
have a theory with that too, but I don't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I always think of people who are, and no offense if any of our listeners are either of these things, but I do see I consider Disney adults to be the same people who watch Dancing with the Stars still.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but I just have never, like, I loved Dancing with the Stars when it first came out. Like, literally my parents and I would just like watch it every night, like the first season or the first two seasons or whatever. And then it just became all about like drama, and it became more about like, definitely like the dancers are kind of almost the stars too now. Like, so I can't imagine still watching the show. It just has been on for so long, but I've noticed like people who are like into it, or it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like they go on tour and people go see their shows. Like I just can't imagine still watching and being into that show.
I can't either. My family didn't watch it. I've never watched it. And like, I love watching shows about dancing, but it is like a similar premise every time. And because it's like usually B-list people or like C-list or whatever, I don't really care as much because usually a lot of the time I'm just like, I don't know who that is.
This season I pretty much know who everybody is, and I'm kind of surprised by some of the people on there.
Yeah, who else is on there?
So Alex Earl is on there, which that doesn't surprise me. That seems like it would make sense. But one that kind of shocked me was Andy Richter, who I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a comedian, and he's like Conan, or he was like Conan's like sidekick. And I was just kind of like, what? I don't know. And then Corey Feldman is on there.
Okay, interesting.
Which again, I guess you could go to like, sometimes it's people who aren't necessarily working anymore, but he's on there. And then Jordan Childs, they always have like an athlete, so she's on there. And then the two women from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, again, that's not that shocking. There's usually like reality people on there, but
I think I don't know. Just really like
Robert
Eggers.
Irwin?
Just kidding.
Eggers. Robert Irwin?
Oh, okay. Yeah, like those are all people that would make sense. Who would be a crazy person to see on Dancing with the Stars?
Like I would be like, oh damn, their career must be taking a dark turn.
Or you just be like, whoa, like you get that like press release, you're like, oh, okay. Maybe Leonardo DiCaprio. I was just say Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what'd you say?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, that would be a rough one. Maybe like
Dolly Parton.
See, no, I mean she's still doing well, but I don't know.
I don't think she would ever do Dancing with the Stars.
No. I can't think now.
Or like Zendaya.
Zendaya has been on.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was because, so they also have a thing where it's always like a Disney person. So that was like when she was still like a Disney star. So she wasn't like really like, she wasn't like successful yet. But I think often about how she was on Dancing with the Stars, and she seems like the most private person now.
She is very like private now.
That's always shocking to me.
Yeah.
Huh. Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting. That would be quite strange, I think.
I'd be like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
He's not doing well.
I don't know. But anyways, I mean, that's all I had. I'm glad that we got to celebrate the Emmys again together this year. And the Oscars will be celebrating also 2 years of popping in.
Yes, and you won the Emmys thing.
I did, yes.
I mentioned that.
I was quite shocked.
You broke the streak.
Pleased. Yeah.
Of one person.
It took a lot of hours of viewing. A lot of canceled plans to win the Emmys poll.
You canceled plans to...
Well...
Was that any of our plans?
No, I think it mostly...
A lot of our plans are watching things together, so...
That is true, and that's why this friendship works really well. And also, like, we enjoy each other. And other things. But... anyways, as always, please like, rate, review, subscribe. You can set up notifications so that way you get like posts on Instagram whenever we post, so you can stay up to date. Share with your friends, share with your family, share with your pets or your imaginary friends. Just share this podcast with anyone of your choosing. We would love more listeners, but we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.